Evening all. So here's some kicking deaths. Now, before we get into the run and gun fun, just thought I'd share this with you. Apparently, somebody's put a 300 billion ISK bounty on me. This is to do with something to do. Who cares? But yeah, basically, it's some dude who. Maybe, I don't know, who knows what happened, but 300 billion ISK, that's quite a lot of ISK, so I assume that's EVISK. If it's dust ISK, then that's just impossible. Anyway, we'll see how that one develops. Basically, it's to do with, I guess PC, which is something they're about to get back into, only on a completely fleeting, not giving much of a hoot about it. So we'll talk more about that in perhaps a later video. Anyway, let's talk shotguns and let's talk fun. So basically, what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm actually testing out some other suits. I know, shock horror. The tidal wave of hate and vitriol and bile and disgust about me using Caldari Assault has only really re-strengthened my resolve to go and do it, basically. But let me explain. This is the Neo suit. Yeah, no, it's an Aurum suit. It's only just to test out the fear, and I'm actually quite impressed with it. It's a Caldari Assault, effectively prototype, I guess. And as you can see, it's got 570 shield, although that doesn't help me here, but there we go. But it's got 570 shield, and it runs at about 9.2 meters a second, so not as good as the Scout, but not too bad. And then I think I need to work on my stamina fittings, because then I could basically fit a better stamina revival and increasing mod. But basically, I think that may be viable. I think I resent using Aurum in a shotgun fit just because it seems a bit pointless, really. But I think once I've got Proto, this may be a fit I migrate to. But to be honest, and I do agree with the various people who've told me this, I don't really want to go Caldari Assault or even Caldari at all. I do like the Scout. I think the Scout suit is great. In fact, I have all my best moments in the Scout suit. I love the ability to kind of run, jump, and go crazy. But I think the problem is that that's it. I've done it, and I've been a prototype Scout since May 14th now, and I think that's a bit boring, really. I think I really would like to try some other suits. So I'm even going to look into maybe running a heavy. I'm actually quite. I've always liked the heavy machine gun, in fact, and I think that may be something I look to maybe get into. But at the moment, I think these Caldari Assault's a pretty good suit. I think when it's not costing me Aurum, definitely there's maybe a run, a particular suit that I run. But yeah, to be honest, I mean, ISK is never a problem. I mean, I know we've had this conversation a few times where I think people are always intrigued. How come I have so much ISK? And no, I'm not taking it from the core wallet. Well, I am, but I'll explain that in a minute. Basically, it's rare that I think I go too many matches. I mean, I guess I'm talking Flaylock here, but when I had the Flaylock, which is still a good gun, by the way, and I do mean that absolutely troll face free. It is a pretty good gun. Still, I think I was going maybe 30 kills and maybe 2 or 3 deaths. With the shotgun, it's probably turning out to be 5 or 6 deaths, just because it's more all or nothing with the shotgun. But I'm still getting not as many kills, but I think in this one I'm going roughly between 15 and 30, between that band. So I think this, most rounds I do lately with the shotgun, I'm getting about 20, 25 kills, and dying, 5, 6 times. So it's starting to, the economics of it are starting to tilt in favor of not using prototype. But so I think I may start, and this is again, hence why I'm kind of looking for a change of gameplay style. But I think the way that the guns are kind of being set up is that there's not, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but there's not a lot of choice really with guns. I mean, the laser rifle new scope may be of worth, may look into using that again, but I just don't feel it anymore. I think part of me really just thinks I should go Caldari Assault and assault rifle, but oh my god, I don't want to do that. The shotgun's okay, but it's I don't know, it doesn't feel great. The thing with the Flaylock is I know it was a good gun. It was, it did need a bit of a nerf, but it felt as if you were really, achieving something with that gun. I mean, the way that you could do aerial acrobatics, it rewarded you for having a relatively good aim, and so on. And I think that's the kind of thing that I missed. To be honest, I know I keep going on about it, but it's literally that Quake rocket launcher is what I want, and I think that's That's the gameplay I've always played. It annoys a lot of people, this kind of gameplay, but I think for me it's just always been, I don't know, the part of the game that I find the most enjoyable is this kind of, I mean, look at this, basically coming up on 2 dudes, blap, you know, killing them, and just doing it in one shot, you know, I think that's important. I don't want to just sit there and riddle them with bullets, because, yeah, that's boring, but I think that's the kind of gameplay that I'm more interested in. So I think, you know, with the Flaylock, I mean, the Flaylock's still good and you can still do this, but I think there's a frustration now with the Flaylock. I don't know, I've done it. I don't want to do endless videos of the same gun, so I think it's funny. It's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, I think the shotgun is still a great gun, and this is probably what we'll use for the time being, but it's not great. And I think, you know, it's frustrating that you do get into these kind of tussles. And you could die 5 times in a row quite easily, not getting a single hit on, and I think that's probably my only issue with it. The shotgun in Chromosome before Uprising was a very good, accurate, powerful gun, and I think it rewarded skill. My god, it rewarded skill. Whereas I think this one rewards skill, certainly, but it's not as usable, basically, as you know, as other guns, because it does feel like you're wrestling the controls. You see there, it didn't feel great. Now it's weird. I don't know what it is with the shotgun. And look at that guy, just missing every time. And it's not my aim, because if you watch my Flaylock videos, the Flaylock was so easy to aim. You could glide the cursor around and it would always hit. You know, you would always shoot their feet and you kill them. That's why I felt I was quite good with it. But with the shotgun, I'm kind of trying to fight the scope. See here, look at that again. I'm shooting and then I'm overcompensating. So that tells me there's something not quite right there still. But again, you know, it's not a killer. It's just maybe it's just a fluidity thing. Maybe it's, I don't know. I often find that the battles become so frantic now because, you know, people are running, you know, incredibly good fits with, you know, the kinetic catalyzers, and they're able to evade a lot easier. And what happens is, generally, you're finding that, you know, most shotgun battles just become, you know, almost predicting where they'll be and pressing the button. It's not really aiming at them anymore. It's just almost pay and spray in a bit, or pray and spray, pray and spray, basically. I think that's kind of a shame, really. But again, I would stress, I think this is where I think my love with the scout suit is going to continue, because there is something about the speed, the ability to kind of sneak up on people. So this guy hasn't seen me flanking him, and boom, he's dead. And I think that's a part of the game that I don't think will change anytime soon, because I do love that. I don't think I'll get that with the assault suits. Although they're good, they have a lot more shield, you're probably more survivable. I still think it's not always about the KD ratio. In fact, it's never about the KD ratio. It's just not always about surviving. Sometimes it is just more fun to get in there and see what you can do. And I think another thing about the economics of this is that, you know, people probably are playing all day, you know, playing maybe, you know, 20, 30, 40 matches. I don't. I think I log on and play the maximum 5 to 10 tops, because I don't have the time, you know. And I think when I log on, I'm kind of at the point where I think, well, I don't really care about the ISK. I don't care if I lose millions of ISK each round, because as long as I'm having fun, making interesting content for you guys to see, that's really all I've got in my mind. And I think that's probably the reason why I'm always running prototype suits, etc. But having said that, I think, you know, it is time to start looking elsewhere. And I think this is really where I think the Caldari Assault, possibly with maybe a, I don't know, whatever gun, laser rifle, hopefully with an SMG, that might be a nice fit again. That was always my fit pre-Uprising. But I suspect that, you know, it probably won't be a brilliant gun to, you know, once its scope's been changed. It's still going to be a bit problematic. So there we go. Again, load of useless bibble and bobble about economics and God knows what. But I think, you know, again, I would stress Eve and Dust, I think, are really becoming quite compelling again. And I think the changes they're doing on a regular basis now really are, that they're making the game a lot better. And I've got to admit, these firefights I've had probably the last few days have just been the best I've ever had in a game, because it doesn't, you know, the Flaylock is nerfed. It doesn't dominate the match anymore. You know, I still feel that, you know, the Caldari Logis and the Caldari Assaults are still quite good, so maybe that needs a bit of work. But I just feel that the game is leveling out quite nicely now. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.